Alright, this is John Colo with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and you guys asked for this video. Last video I had over 1,000 thumbs up, which is actually pretty amazing, because I know this is the video you guys want to see. So for those of you guys that don't know what's going on here, what I'm going to share with you guys today is the Nutribullet blender that's been out now for, I don't know, 5 years or so since the infomercial came out. And on the infomercial salesperson said, you know, the Nutribullet turns foods inside out. It breaks open the cell walls to make the nutrients available to you. And I know thousands of people around the world, maybe even millions, have gotten the benefits of the Nutribullet or high power blending and blenders that actually break open the fibrous cell walls and make nutrients more available to you. And as much as blenders are great and they allow people to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, right? There's a big problem that the infomercial salesman never told you about, and nobody else really tells you about unless you watch some of my channels, because I just kind of share the truth. And the truth is, no matter what you're doing in life, there's always pros and there's always cons. Maybe like 99% of the stuff you like about your girlfriend, your husband, or your wife, your boyfriend, you love them, but you know they got a bad side. Maybe they drink a little bit too much. Maybe they yell at you a little bit. But, you know, whatever. There's always pros and cons, and with blending, there's some big cons that in this video, I'm going to show you guys the solution to. Alright? So the first thing I want to demonstrate is actually really quick, is how the Nutribullet works. And we're just going to go ahead and take this extractor blade and put it on this small cup, which we have nothing but clean water in here. And we're going to go ahead and put this in here and turn it on. And when we do that, look at that. What do we got inside there? If we look inside there, look at the top. What does it look like? I mean, that's just a violent... Oh, wait, that's really cool. Let's do that again. Okay, when we turn it off, what do we look like when it goes in there? The water's just totally spinning around. It looks like a vortex, you know? Like a spiral, like a tornado. Every day you're blending, you're creating a tornado. And we know how destructive tornadoes can be. And guess what? That's exactly the damage that's going on inside the blender every time you use it. Whether you got a Nutribullet, a Vitamix, a Blendtec, any kind of blender, it creates that vortex. That's how the blenders work. And that does lots of oxidative damage to the nutrients. Now, yes, on one hand it does oxidative damage to the nutrients, but on the flip side it breaks open those nutrients so now you have access to them. Overall, you know, I mean, it's a positive thing to be blending. It's never a negative thing to be blending. But I want to share with you guys how you can make it even better. Up to 3 times or even 4 times more nutritious by blending with this simple Nutribullet modification that I'll be doing. So to demonstrate my modification and why it's so beneficial, I want to get set up for the next step. So in this part of the video, what I want to show you guys is actually why you should be vacuum blending and why you should never blend again if you're not going to be vacuum blending, because you're really aerating the juice significantly. And I'm going to demonstrate that for you guys right now. Over on this side, we have an unmodified Nutribullet. You know, probably like one you'd buy or maybe like yours. We're going to add literally 1 cup of water right there, clean water. And we're going to add 2 squirts, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 squirts of dish detergent. Over on this side, I have my modified Nutribullet. And what we're going to do on this side is we're going to add, you know, 1 cup of water. And we're going to add 3 squirts of the dish soap, 2, 3. So we have even amounts of dish soap and water. We're going to go ahead and put this on the blenders here. All right. So up to this point, we basically did the same thing in both blenders, but now the next step is we got this special piece here that I'll go over in a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and take a vacuum pump here, and we're going to suck out all the excess oxygen inside the Nutribullet, right? And as you guys can see, we're doing that. You know, it is creating a little bit of bubbles, and we're going to do this maybe 20 times. All right, so now that I got it all pumped out, we could remove our vacuum pump. We're going to go ahead and put this on and run it for the identical amount of time. I think that's enough. We're going to go ahead and turn that off. And look at this. Now that in this carafe here, we got basically the bubbles and the water all the way up. And over in this carafe too, you know, we have same bubbles and water, but it's actually not quite as high up. Next, we're going to go ahead and pull the vacuum off this side. And look at that. We have significantly less bubbles and water on the side with the vacuum. We're going to go ahead and flip this guy over now. And we're going to go ahead and pour this out. And over on this side, we could also take this apart. And look at that. I mean, it's almost all the way to the top, and we could pour this out. So what does this show you guys? This shows you that when you blend without a vacuum, right? Oh, and here, check that out. Even this one is settling a little bit, but this one is still just all basically air and bubbles. When you're blending without a vacuum, you're introducing a lot of air. So when you drink your smoothies, right, you're drinking a lot of air or air bubbles. That's why sometimes after you drink smoothies, you may have belching or burping and maybe even gas because you're drinking the air bubbles, right? And the air bubbles, for drinking them, they're not super bad. You might have some belching or burping. But even worse is if you're trying to store your Nutribullet smoothie to go, because now inside the smoothie you made is all air bubbles, and those air bubbles are reacting with the phytonutrients and phytochemicals inside your smoothies, and some of the vitamins are really messing with, and they're lowering. And so for this reason, that's why I recommend vacuum blending. As you guys saw, you know, this one puts significantly less air bubbles into the mixture. So now I'm going to actually show you guys the real world example of oxidation firsthand by blending up simply some purified water and 1 apple in both the Nutribullet unmodified and my modified version that'll cost you about $20. So once again, we're just going to go ahead and take 12 ounces of water. We're going to go ahead and cut up 1 apple into chunks and get it in the water there. And what you're going to see actually is you're going to see the oxidative damage to the apple. I mean, if we cut open an apple, as you guys can see, it's actually nice and bright and colorful. But if you leave this apple sit out for an hour, it starts to turn brown. That's the oxidative damage and some of the nutrients, you know, that are diminishing in the apple. So for that reason, you know, I encourage you guys to eat the apple as soon as you can after cutting it, right? Now here's the thing, you know, if we're cutting the apple and we chew it, right, when we chew it, we're oxidizing the apple, but it's happening very slowly, right? But when we blend it up at high speed, you know, 10,000 RPMs like the Nutribullet, or like 30,000 or 20,000 RPMs like some other blenders, that does massive, much more oxidative damage to the apple than by just simply chewing it and eating it. So for that reason, you know, if you're not lazy, I recommend eating your fruits and vegetables. That's absolutely the best. Low oxidation. Alright, so we have the apples and water in each blender. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put this side under the vacuum. So we have our special vacuum attachment here. We're just going to go ahead and put it on the top, and we're going to suck out the excess oxygen. Now all we're doing on this side is we're sucking out the excess oxygen. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's air bubbles coming up from the bottom. Maybe that's some of the trapped air inside the apple. And all this extra oxygen inside here. So the oxygen inside the container is responsible for a lot of the oxidative damage. We're not going to be able to get rid of all the oxygen or all the air inside there. There's still going to be some, but we could remove the excess oxygen, and this is actually quite important and quite critical, you know, to blend in an oxygen deprived environment. You know, so you're going to have actually more nutrition, because under the oxidation that's happening when the blade's spinning, it's creating that vortex. All the cell walls that are being blown open inside out are getting exposed to the oxygen, and the nutrient quality is reducing, as I'll show you guys in just a little bit. So yeah, let's go ahead and finish sucking out some of the excess oxygen here, and we're going to get blending. Alright, so I think I'm done sucking all the excess oxygen out of there. Next, we're going to go ahead and blend. We'll fast forward this for you guys, you know, so you guys are going to have to see the whole process. But on 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop that. And if you look here, you guys could look at the color on the Nutribullet without the vacuum. And here's the color on the Nutribullet with the vacuum. Actually, even though the amounts were the same, the vacuum is actually a little bit inflated or a little bit higher. And that's because it's under vacuum. So let's lift off this vacuum so you guys could hear the vacuum, the freshness. Alright, and then this one went down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and pour that out for you guys so it's going to be more apparent here. Alright, so there you go. We got both these guys sealed up, and we're just going to let these sit off to the side while I do the rest of this demo. Alright, so it's been a little while. I'm set up for the next part. I'm going to show you guys how you guys can modify your own Nutribullet to get these impressive results. It hasn't been even sitting that long, but now you can see the difference even more pronounced. Over on this side, we have the standard Nutribullet that you would buy, and look at this, man, this thing is like totally brown and oxidized. That's because all the air bubbles that are in there, the oxidation that was generated, and it's just still occurring at a fast and rapid rate. Over on this side, where I use the anti-oxidation modification on the Nutribullet, you know, the drink still looks actually pretty much how it came out. So this is critical if you guys take your Nutribullet Nutriblast to work or whatever. You're going to want to definitely do it with the vacuum to preserve more of your nutrition. Now I do want to say that, you know, on the apples they show the oxidative damage, right? Oxidative damage happens to many levels of the produce. You know, apples, you could easily see it. On something like blueberries, it's not as readily apparent. But there are some other things that'll happen when you do the vacuuming or the antioxidation vacuum when blending, right? Number one, you're going to notice a better flavor, right? Better flavor. Super critical, right? Our taste buds are the best indicators of nutrition on the entire planet, although they can be fooled with things like salt, fat, and oil, and sugar. But nonetheless, you know, if you taste and something tastes good and like, wow, John, I could really taste the mint in there. It tasted really minty, right? Then there's more nutrients in there because some of the nutrients are the taste factors, the taste compounds that make the nutrients, right? So here's the thing, right? What you're going to notice when you start vacuum blending, you're going to notice stronger flavors. So you might have to put half as much of the mint or other flavors because when you're blending it and it's oxidizing all those nutrients and the flavor profile goes down. Number two, you're going to notice the consistency. So in general, the consistency is going to be a little bit better. I mean, the Nutribullet is not the world's best blender in the whole world. It does leave lots of chunks, as we are seeing here. But the texture is going to be better. There's not going to be the dissolved air inside the smoothie either. Generally, air inside the smoothie generally happens with the super high power blenders in excess of 20,000 RPM. Slow blenders, it doesn't add so much air into the blender. So, you know, for that reason, it's even more important to vacuum blend under high power blenders. Another thing you guys are going to notice is the nutritional quality difference. Super critical. You'll be able to taste this, but I want to show you guys some of the research that's been done. So here's some research that's been done in Japan, and this is the first vacuum blender on the market. Yeah, you could spend like, I don't even know how much this guy runs, $500–700 over in Japan. Basically on the back they have a little graph here right on this side. And these graphs here show the nutrient differences. I mean, those guys in Japan and girls are really smart. You know, they figure all this stuff out. That's why they innovated and created the vacuum technology for blending. And now other places are copying that. And you could do it yourself now for pretty easy because I figured out how to do it. But anyways, over on this side it says vitamin C. This one's vitamin C differences, and you guys can see the different lines. But basically, it's like 4.7 times more vitamin C when you're vacuum blending. So literally, if you're blending without vacuum, you're throwing your money away, you're throwing nutrients away. What if that extra vitamin C is a vitamin C you need to lose that weight, to get healthier, to fight that disease, right? I want you guys to have every possible advantage in life. And although I sell vacuum blenders on my website, discountjuicers.com, if you want to get a high-end vacuum blender, right? I'm making this video for you guys so that you guys can make the changes in your life you need to do so you guys can get the benefits and the results. I mean, that's what this YouTube channel is about. And if you haven't seen any of my videos before, check my other videos. I have over 400 videos now teaching you guys the best way to eat, fruits and vegetables and how not to run into dietary snafus so you guys can be healthy. I mean, this is what I do. You know, when I learned about vacuum blending, right, and the vacuum blenders weren't available to me, I created this system that I'm sharing with you guys freely and openly now so that I could have higher nutrition, and I want you guys to be as healthy or healthier than I am. So I share how I do everything. Anyways, over on this side, they show some kind of other antioxidants, and it shows a 2.3 or a 3.4 times difference. Nonetheless, you know, it's 2 to 4 times different on these on this Japanese chart, and some of this is actually in Japanese, so I can't actually read what they're saying. But over on this one's actually in English. This is another company that has a vacuum blender here in Korea, and they've done research on this. And over here, this is what it looks like. You know, their picture of normal blending and vacuum blending, and this was tomatoes. Tomatoes are something else that really shows a big difference, much like the apples. But in their test, the vitamin A was 4 times as much, Over on this side, the polyphenols were 2.6 times as much. I've seen other studies where they do, they blend blueberries. Blueberries is one of the most important foods you guys could be eating. If you guys can't get fresh blueberries year-round, hey, get some frozen blueberries. Costco, Trader Joe's has some organic blueberries. Trader Joe's actually has the wild blueberries, which I actually prefer more, no pesticide. Those guys are super high antioxidant. But when you're blending in a standard Nutribullet, making your Nutriblast, you're losing 2.5 times of those valuable phytonutrients. In any case, on with this episode, you guys can clearly see the difference. Let's show you guys how to make your own vacuum blender with your Nutribullet. So you're going to have a Nutribullet carafe. I got a nice 32-ounce one. You guys can order one of these separately. I'll put a link down below to Amazon to get all the different parts that I'm sharing with you guys today. I think they may all be available at Amazon. You might be missing one of them there, but I'll put links down below to get those. And if you click on my Amazon link, it's going to support an Amazon Smile for my favorite pet rescue. My favorite animal rescue that rescues dogs and cats that are maybe blind or can't hear, maybe have bad deformities and can't even walk and stuff. So they're doing amazing work. So yeah, click below, buy through them to support their nonprofit. All right, any case, once you get the blender blade or the carafe here, you're going to take off the sticker on the top sticker. Now I do need to let you guys know that doing any modification to your blender will void your warranty, and manufacturers don't like this. So do this at your own risk, at your own peril. I cannot be held responsible for anything that happens or damage, to your blender or you from doing any modifications, right? I'm showing you guys this, and this is what I did. I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. So once you have the top sticker peeled off, you're going to notice a little divot in the top there, and that's where you're actually going to drill a hole. So I have a special drill bit. This, you got to get the right size, super critical, super important. This is a 21/64. Go to a hardware store if you need to buy one. Most good drill sets will have this bit in it. If you need to get a cheap bit, Harbor Freight tool, I can recommend. You're going to need a drill, and you're just going to go ahead and right in the middle, get it nice and centered up here, and we're just going to go ahead and drill, baby drill. All right, success. We've drilled through there. You can see all the shavings. You're going to want to wash your container after you're done drilling. You're going to want to take your finger and feel up inside there and make sure there's no shavings or any rough spots. So I have a little knife here. We're just going to go ahead and take off on the inside and cut off any shavings. And now you're thinking, man, John, you must be super intelligent. You put a hole in your Nutribullet, so now when you fill it up, right, all the stuff's going to leak out the bottom. Well, trust me, I've thought of that. So what you guys are going to need, you guys are going to need some of these guys. These are actually sealing corks by Hillman. I got this at Lowe's. I don't know if Amazon.com sells it. I'll put a link down below if I find some equivalent ones there. But these are the #1 sealing corks made out of cork. So this is a natural material, probably less toxic than the actually BPA-free plastic the carafe is made out of. So what you're going to do is you're going to now put one of these sealing corks in this to basically plug up the hole. And when you do that now, you can actually fill up your blender carafe with your liquids. Then you're going to go ahead and put the top on. And then once you flip this over and you got it on to the blender base, don't put it in lines where it's going to blend, or you can even do this off on the counter. Then you're going to go ahead and want to buy something else, and that's this setup right here. This is the critical component that you're going to need that makes the vacuum blending possible. This one's about $20 on Amazon. It's called the Bartelli portable and reusable vacuum food storage solution. But I've modified this food storage solution to work with a blender. So let's go ahead and take this out. This basically allows you to food save things in plastic bags, and it's a complete kit. But we really want these parts in here. We want the pump here that you guys saw me use earlier, and we want these little things. This is the thing that normally goes actually into the bag, and these are the special vacuum tops that have a one-way valve. Very critical, right? So this is when it comes to you, it's going to be 2 parts fused into one. There's the top part and the bottom part. We're going to go ahead and separate that out, and we're just going to want the top part here. Here's the top part, here's the bottom part. And we're just going to go ahead and simply take the top part and put it right into the hole that we've generated. It should fit in really tightly, just like that. And then once you have all your food in there and you're ready to blend, then you just pump this out, and you're pumping all the excess oxygen out. And what's going to happen now is you've created a vacuum chamber inside there. You know, with simply a $20 kit from Amazon, a drill, and your Nutribullet. And you know, once again, then you're going to blend in it. And once you're done, then you're going to want to let the seal off. So you could like lift this up, and it's going to let the let some of the air pressure out. And then you're going to go ahead and remove this, and then you're going to go ahead and put that cork in, and then you're going to flip it over and take off your extractor top, right? So that's how I figured out how to do this. So what I thought I'd do last for you guys, actually make you guys one of my favorite smoothies here. So let's see, to do this, number one, we got that hole in the top, remember? Don't just flip this over and try to pour all your stuff in. I know one of you guys out there is going to do that. It's going to leak all of your countertop. Make sure you use that little cork. Make sure it's nice and tight. Put that in there. Screw off your extractor blade. And now this is going to want to tip a little bit, so I like to like put it up inside there, and it might hold it. And then we're going to go ahead and once again, you know, put our liquids in first. 18 ounces of coconut water here. Next, we're going to go ahead and dump in our fresh greens, our purslane. Purslane's high in omega-3 fatty acids. Next, we got 1 cup of blueberries. And you might want to make some kind of stand to hold this up, or you could cut your cork down actually so it sits flush. We got the flax seeds going in, and then finally we got the bananas. I like the bananas for the sweetness, and I like to add the frozen ones instead of a fresh one because you have a nice, better smoothie-like consistency. So once you got that full, as you guys can see, there's no leaks because we got that cork in there. I just like to set it up on top here. I'll remove the cork at this point, and we'll replace the cork with that little top suction piece. It fits in nice and tightly, very important. You'll hear a snap. You may, when you drill it out, you may have to enlarge your drill hole just a tad. Next, we're going to go ahead and put that vacuum pump on there. You know, I do recommend, like, if you could do 100 pumps, that'd be best, but at least 50 to remove the majority of the oxygen. So we're going to go ahead and pump this up, and we'll come back at you when we're ready to blend. All right, now that I got it all pumped up, you want to just listen. Make sure you don't hear any psst or air leaks. Looks like we're good. We're going to go ahead and crank this baby on. All right, let's go ahead and turn this off and let the vacuum seal off. All right, let it off. I think it leaked a little bit during blending, so you will want to be aware of that. I think sometimes the vibration, oh, there we go. Got a lot of it out there. And then once we got the vacuum sealer out, once again, got to put that cork in before you flip it over. Got the cork in there, flip it over. Now you can unscrew and enjoy your vacuum blended smoothie. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up to let me know. I'll be doing some other videos where I converted some other blenders to vacuum blenders as well. And if you're looking for a real vacuum blender where you don't guys screw around with drilling holes and all this stuff, hey, check out my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/rawfoods, where I actually have vacuum blender demonstrations that are not quite as hokey, or probably not going to leak or whatever. Last thing I want to show you guys, look at this. This is the difference between vacuum blending and non-vacuum blending. That's a pretty big difference, right? More oxidation, less oxidation. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below for my new and upcoming episodes that are coming out about every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up, what I'll be doing on my YouTube channel, so that it'll allow you to eat more healthier fruits and vegetables. Also be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. If you like this episode, I have many other videos teaching you guys how to optimize your diet and eat a healthier diet. Also be sure to share this video with somebody else that has a Nutribullet so they could find out how a $20 mod could drastically increase the amount of nutrients they're getting. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep drinking your vacuum blended fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.